guys, welcome back to Ashar Books. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the books or book related things I'm thankful for this year. So this week is Thanksgiving or American Thanksgiving in a couple of days. So I kind of wanted to think about and talk about some of the things that I'm thankful for this year that are book related. Side note, my cat has decided that she is very talkative today and she keeps walking around here meowing her little head off. So if you hear meowing in the background, I promise she's fine. She just wants attention. So sorry about that. But let's go ahead and look at some of the things I am thankful for this year. So the first thing that I'm thankful for this year is kind of a genre, and that is historical romance. So you guys know, if you've watched more of my videos, that I absolutely love historical romances, and I've read quite a few of them this year. But I was thinking and kind of looking back through my Goodreads and stuff, and I realized that I really hadn't read that many historical romances until this year. I've read a few here and there, but not nearly to the extent that I've read this year. And some of my absolute favorite books, I was kind of starting to look back and try and think of like which ones were my absolute favorite. And a lot of the ones I enjoyed the most were historical romances. And it introduced me to some of my favorite authors like Lisa Kleypas, Tessa Dare, Sarah MacLean, Julia Quinn, a lot of the authors that I just absolutely love their characters and love their books. So I'm very thankful that I'm not gonna lie, for a long time I was kind of put off by them just because the covers, they're mass market, they're not the best thing to like hold and read, like comfort wise. But I finally gave them a chance, and I kind of didn't judge a book by its cover and gave it a chance, and I really am so glad that I did because they're fantastic. So I encourage you guys, if you do like romance and you like history, to give them a chance because I think there is more behind the cover sometimes. The second thing that I am thankful for is a series, and that is the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the fourth one, Bad Blood. So this series I'm thankful for because I really didn't think that I would like this. It's not a genre I typically go towards, like crime or mysteries or anything like that. I was convinced that I just didn't like them. And I'm not really sure why, because I do enjoy some of those TV shows and books and movies. But for the longest time, I just wouldn't pick them up. But I saw the first one, The Naturals, talked about so much that I finally just got it from my library and picked it up kind of on a whim this summer. And it became probably my favorite new series that I read this year. And I'm so grateful that I picked it up, and again, kind of didn't let my kind of like judgmental little self kind of stop myself from reading it, because it was really good and it was really different. And now I'm like on the hunt for another series that's kind of similar to this. So if you have any recommendations, definitely let me know. There's a few I know of that people have kind of told me about, so I'm gonna look into those. But yeah, I'm really thankful I found this series this year. Another book that I am thankful for this year is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. So this one, I wanted to kind of say why I was thankful for it, because I feel like this is another one. I feel like there's a theme going on here of me kind of branching out a bit, reading some things I wasn't necessarily always gravitating towards in the past. This is definitely like an more adult fiction. It definitely obviously has supernatural elements to it because of the witches, and it does have some romance to it, but it's definitely more of a mainstream adult fiction. And I'm not always the biggest fan of other kind of more like literary fiction that I've read. Not all of it. I know some of it is fantastic, but sometimes I just got a little bored with it. So I was really thankful that I picked this up. I also read it with a friend, and it was a lot of fun to read it with her and kind of just like bounce our ideas off of each other. I had a really fun time reading this, and I loved it, and I really need to pick up the second one. I keep saying it's on my like TBR, and it is. They're just such big books, they definitely take a bit of a commitment, but I'm just really thankful I tried this because I think I'm going to be a little bit more likely to try something else that's similar to this, kind of in the book world. So if you haven't picked this up, I know it's kind of overhyped in a way. A lot of people are talking about it, especially with the TV show coming out, but I highly recommend picking it up. It has a little bit of everything. So the last two that I want to talk about aren't necessarily books, but they are book related. So the next thing I am thankful for this year is my Goodreads. So this is kind of an odd one, but I feel like I never really used my Goodreads that well before because I was terrible about putting books on there when I actually read them. So I would forget to put them on, I would forget for like a few months, and then I would pick a book up and realize I'm pretty sure I've read this, but it wasn't on my Goodreads. or written down anywhere, so I didn't know that I had read it. So this year, I have been way, way better, and when I look back at my Goodreads, every book that I've read this year, I think, is on there, and it's just a really good tool. I love looking at the Goodreads challenge, but I love being able to use it. I've also joined a couple of groups this year just to get recommendations. Top 5 Wednesday with some of the videos have been a ton of fun. I've loved participating in that. I'm part of a couple other like just groups where you give recommendations on there, and that's been just really helpful when looking for different books. So yeah, I've always had Goodreads for I think I've had it for 4 or 5 years, but I've never really used it properly, I guess, until this year. So I've really liked it, and looking back, about what books were my favorite, it obviously made it a lot easier when I actually remember to put every book I read in there. And also I've been much better about trying to write reviews on there at least a little bit, give it at least a star rating, so I can remember at the end of the year how I felt about it, because if you read it in January, it is hard to remember by December. So yeah, I've really loved using it. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about being thankful for this year is this channel. I know it's kind of cheesy, but I just want to say I have absolutely loved starting this channel. I've thought about it for so long before I did it. I think I started the channel in July, so I think I've had it September, October, November. I've only had the channel 4 months, but it's been a lot of fun. It's just been a really good hobby for me, kind of letting me have an outlet to talk about some of the books I read. I love talking to everyone in the comments. I've gotten such great recommendations. Just kind of feel a bit like a community of people with the same interest. So I'm really thankful that I finally plunged in and tried to create the channel, and I hope that by this time next year I'll be even more thankful that I'm here. Okay guys, so those are all the kind of book related things that I'm thankful for this year. I hope you guys all, if you celebrate, have an amazing Thanksgiving, eat way too much food, sit there, watch football, have time with friends and family, and I'll see you guys really soon.